Hey everybody, I'm Belinda Sandor. Welcome to Lessons from the Cockpit. Let's do this. Hey everybody, I'm Belinda Sandor. Welcome to Lessons from the Cockpit. I'm thrilled to be your host. Today we're going to talk about both tactical and practical weekly, things that you need in your VA business to be the huge success that you want to be. I'm thrilled you're here, and I'm really happy to be your host. So for those of you who are new, I am the founder of the Virtual Assistant Connection. And I would love to hear where you're coming in from in the comments as we get started. I see you guys coming. Lessons from the Cockpit is brought to you by the VA Connection. And at the VA Connection, we work with new and aspiring and established virtual assistants to help them build the business that they want to have using the skills that they already have. All right, I want to get you guys out there, and we do this in our free global online community. We're represented in 47 countries, and our courses and coaching programs. So today we're going to talk about a really important topic. We're going to talk about how to adapt new systems or processes for your business successfully. And what I mean by that are, for example, let's say you're going to set up a CRM for yourself, or you're going to switch to a new email system, or you're going to decide to stop having Post-its all over your desk and use a project management software. Okay. So the thing about this is that I want you to learn how to do it for yourself so that you can get your business in order. And this skill 100% translates for clients. Okay. 100% translates. So as you're coming in, I see Frederica is here. Hello, hello, hello. Awesome. That's great. Let me know who's here and where you're coming in from. Okay. And while you're doing that, I am going to introduce myself. So, as I said, this is me, and this is my little delicious daughter who is now 21 years old. And this was us 11 years ago when she was 9, and I was just starting out. And I'm sure many of you have heard me tell this story before, but I think it's important because we look at people who have the success that we want now, and it's very easy to feel like we can't do that too. And it's easy to say, oh, well, yeah, they figured it all out. They must have a trust fund, or, a rich uncle died, or, whatever it is. And so it's important to see, the path that it took to get here, because it was definitely a journey. So at this point that this picture was being taken, I was completely overwhelmed, completely uncertain. I was in this huge mess, both financial. I was going through divorce, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do, and I knew that I wanted to be at home with Emily. I knew that I needed to make money. I didn't have a job, and I hadn't been able to pay the bills or the mortgage for over a year, and everywhere I looked, there was struggle. So I decided that I was going to do admin work. I didn't even know that it was called being a virtual assistant, and I just started telling everybody that I knew. And my first client I got at the school bus stop. It was a dad, and that I'd been standing next to at the bus stop in the, in the rain and the cold and the sleet. And one day he said, what are you up to? And I said, oh, I'm starting a new business. I'm going to help people with admin work. And his face lit up and he said, oh my gosh, I just started a business a couple of months ago. I'm totally overwhelmed. I really need help. And I said, great, and we started working together. So you never know where those clients are going to come from. So you really want to tell everybody what you're doing. So let's say some other hellos here. So Glorianne here is here from San Antonio, and Teresa is here from Kentucky, and someone's here from Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, and from India, and Lana is here from tuning in from Orlando. That's awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate it. Well, so fast forward, all right? Did the hard work, leaned into it, figured it out, and told everybody I knew, and continued to do that. And I've now been a virtual assistant for 11 years. My business is called Rocket Girl Solutions. And during that 11 years, I've worked with over 225 clients, and I've made over $1 million. The first year that I was a virtual assistant, I made $70,000. And every year after that, I made $100,000 or more. So I was able to turn myself around, be at home with Emily, do good work that I loved, working with clients that are amazing. And here's what it looks like now. So this is my, I can't say new for long, so I'm going to keep saying it until I can't. My new husband, we've been married less than a year, so we're officially honeymooners. We got married last summer, and these are our kids. Emily is next to me, and then David, Charlie, Stephen, and Andy, and this is on our wedding day. And our life is really different now. I'm no longer, the finances are handled. I'm no longer making those horrible, minimum payments. I'm not scraping by. And it's such a relief. It's such a relief to be able to breathe again and to feel like I'm back in control of my life. And I want to help you guys do that too. So here's Sean is here. Hey y'all, and Meredith is in Florida too. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So are you guys ready? Let's do it. Okay. So today I want to talk about really specifically how to be a business systems superhero. Now, when people hear business systems, or if they hear project management, or language like that tends to be kind of corporate, it can be overwhelming. It can be intimidating. And so I want to just break this down. Okay. Now I don't want to minimize professional project managers. All right. Because there are project managers who have this very intense certification, and they're doing highly complex problem solving, in IT and things like that. But for the most part, my clients, when they say, I need you to manage a project, it's nothing like that, right? Because my clients are working on their own, right? They're solo professionals and small business owners. So, you don't have to worry about using phrases like business systems, okay? Now, moving into a new system is something that's just going to be part of your world, because your business as a VA is going to grow and expand. And if you're starting, with nothing, you're going to need to put some systems into place to support yourself. Now, one of the things about systems, and so let me give you an example of a system. You could have a system to onboard a client, which is as simple as a checklist. Okay, that's a system. Okay, you could also have a system for, so how you manage your email. Right? That's sort of a system as well. And what we're going to talk about today is how to move into a new process or a new system. So for example, I was using Outlook for years and years and years. And about 10 years ago, I decided to move my email, my calendar, everything over to Google Workspace. That's a big deal. So that would be a project, right? But it's just my stuff for me, and it's manageable, and I'm able to do it. Someone's asking, is there going to be a replay? Yes, you can find this in the video section of the Facebook groups. It'll stay in my activity feed on LinkedIn. It's part of our YouTube channel, and you can also find it on Twitter. So we're streaming everywhere. We're streaming everywhere. Now let's think about the number one thing you need to do, and we're going to talk about this more, is you need to make a commitment when you're adopting a new business system or process. You need to make a commitment, and you really want to be prepared to go the distance. And I'm going to explain to you what happens when you don't, and it's not pretty. But can you imagine, for example, so here you are, you're going to move to a new calendar. So let's say I've got a paper calendar, I've got Outlook, and I'm moving over to, Google Calendar. If I don't go 100%, I'm going to have a mess, right? I'm not going to know what to trust. I'm going to have to keep checking the old calendar. So it's really important that you go 100% when you move into a new system, right? Same thing with the billing system. Let's say you're moving from, sending invoices to the debit card system, and you're not sure, who's paying you which way, and you're not really tracking it. It's really a recipe for a disaster. Right? Really a recipe for a disaster. And the thing is that you could be really putting a lot of work in and take it to 90%, But if you don't have the confidence that it's accurate, it's just, it's like you didn't do it at all. Okay, it's like you didn't do it at all. So let me know if this is resonating with you. How many of you have ever not gone all the way with the system? You're kind of dabbling with it, and I know it feels uncomfortable, right? I mean, it is uncomfortable, and you don't want to do this with clients either, because they will be very uncomfortable. So let's talk about ways to be a superhero. Okay, here are some things you need to consider. As I said, you need to commit. So you need to commit in a couple of different ways. One is, if you're moving to a new system like Google Workspace, you want to decide, you want to do the research, and then you want to stop thinking about, is there a better solution? Okay, because there's a million solutions for pretty much everything that we do in our business, and you really want to decide and stop thinking about it. Okay, second guessing is a total waste of time, and it hinders progress. So once you make the commitment, I want you to lean into it and go all the way. The next thing I want you to do is, I want you to sketch the whole project out. So for example, let's use the example of moving from one calendar to the other. You can go through the last year, or you can go forward for the next year, and what you want to do is, move all of your current appointments, right? All of your current appointments. You also want to move your recurring appointments. So you're going to need to look out over a year for birthdays, certain bills that are due, information that you keep on your calendar. You're going to want to really sketch that out. So the list could be, move all of my current meetings, move my recurring meetings, look at my paper calendar to see if there's anything on there that I need to move, go back 6 months, review my calendar, just to make sure you have everything at your fingertips. All right, let's see what Shauna says. Totally. I'm implementing a new all-in-one system and bouncing between this system and all the older systems I've been using. To clients, I've got everything handled internally. Internally, my business is a mess right now. Yeah, so don't do that to yourself. Really don't do that to yourself, because keep in mind, we get paid by the hour. We want to be efficient in everything we do so that we can take on more work or more fun, right? One way or the other. We don't want to be in the struggle. It's just not a good idea. Okay. And this is a really good muscle to build too for your client work, to be thorough and to really think things through. So sketch out the plan, sketch out the plan, and really, I want you to have small steps, not like move my stuff from the old calendar to the new calendar. Look, it could be, make sure all the birthdays are moved. Make sure all the, the due dates for special bills are on there. Really be thorough about it. Okay. The next thing you want to do is to make time for the move. You want to make time for the move. And in some cases, you might want to set aside an entire day. And I know that sounds like a lot, but I guarantee you're going to waste more than a day with the back and forth, right? You're going to really waste more time. And the thing is you're going to be in the shower or on a walk, and you're going to remember something. And then, the integrity of the project is going to be like, oh, I can't trust this. I can't trust this because I really didn't do it. Now, the other thing you want to do is, you want to steer clear of later. Okay. You want to steer clear of later, because what happens is we don't go back. We don't go back, and we make a mess. We really make a mess. So I don't want you to put any of it off. I want you to be thorough 100% and make sure that everything that has to happen can happen. So tell me in the chat some of the systems that you've moved into. So I've moved into like Gmail, Google Calendar, really the whole Google Workspace. I've moved into CRMs. In fact, I'm getting ready to move into a new CRM. Right now, everything's in a spreadsheet, but it needs, my contacts need to be tagged. They need to be, sorted. I need to take all of the spam out, because my old CRM collected spam over time, just contacts that I don't need. So, having clean data is really important as well as part of a migration project like this. So Tina says, Groove group.cm, or maybe it's group.com, and Google Workspace. Yeah, the Google Workspace project, that was a big deal. And I had my email migrated as well. I actually paid someone to migrate my email from Outlook to Gmail, because my business was really up and going, and I had a lot of history that I felt that I needed to keep. The truth is I probably hardly ever looked at the old information, but I just needed it to be there. So I did pay someone to migrate it. But moving your calendars, that's a big deal. That's a really big deal. So you want to think about that. Okay. Let me go back to the other slide for a minute and look at my notes. The other things that you want to do is make sure you get the support that you need, because sometimes we need support, when we're moving into a new system. So with Google, for example, it's my Google Workspace is paid, so I can contact Google for support. But you want to make sure that you have that lined up before you change. If you're moving from Infusionsoft or Keep, over to MailChimp, which I've done that for clients, you really want to think through, okay, there are tags, and, they're on different lists, and, what products have they purchased? What is the data that you really need to have? And in some cases, you're going to want to run redundant systems, right? You can't do that sometimes, but other times you can. You can absolutely, run two systems. So if you're, for example, moving from one billing system to another, you can run both processes at the same time to make sure that everything you need to have is in there. This is really something I learned in corporate, but it's definitely something you can learn to do on your own. It's just really, like a lot of life, be thoughtful, make a plan, and execute it 100%. That's really at the core of it. So Shauna says, or like Glorian says, yes, trying to clean this up myself, moving from Outlook to Gmail, but all of my 900 contacts are in Outlook, and people have found me there for 20 plus years. So this is scary, and also starting a website that will be a new email. Do you have to forward all to one? Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. So when I moved, okay, let me think. When I moved from Outlook to Gmail, I was using the same address. But if you're using a new address, what you can do is you can forward the email from the old email address to your new email address, and then set up your Gmail so that when you reply from your new address. And over time, people they'll make the change. They'll naturally make the change. So that way, everything is going into your new email from the Outlook, right, from the Outlook address, because you're forwarding it. And so this is really running a redundant system in some ways. And then what you're going to do is you can set up in Gmail, you can reply from different email addresses, and you're going to want to reply to the Outlook email from the Gmail address. Let me know if that makes sense. But that's how I did that. And then eventually everybody was migrated to the new address. Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, go. I'm going for it. Oh, it's such a good feeling, right? It's such a good feeling. And Shauna says, Go High Level is the one I'm migrating to. Email management, SMS, phone call recording, newsletter campaign, and membership site all in one. Wow. So these are all, so Shauna's moving all of these different systems into one. So I imagine you're going to do that one system at a time, right? You'll move your email and, SMS and, all of these different things one at a time and test them all out. Great. That's good for you, Shauna. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. So get the support you need. Yes. She says, yes. Get the support you need. And that could be, if you're in VA school, you could talk this through with another student. If you're in the virtual assistant connection, the VA connection, find a buddy, post it. I'm moving from this to this. What are the considerations? And think it through together. Great. Okay. So as I said, steer clear of later. Later is your enemy. It really is. And now I understand if you can't, it takes more than a day, or you can only work on it for a couple of hours a day, but have that list, have that crystal clear list of what your next steps are so that you know what you've done, cross them off, and what you still have to do, because it's easy to get confused. It's easy to get confused when you're migrating from one system to the other. But it's definitely something you'll need to do, and you're going to do it probably again and again. One of the things that's interesting is sometimes business people in general, they pick a system, and then what happens is it doesn't serve them anymore. And what they say to me, what they've said, and I felt this way, is I didn't pick the right one because it's not working for me anymore. And here's the thing, it's because your business has grown, most likely, or it's changed in some way. And so it's really a sign of success when it's time to upgrade. It's not always fun, but it's definitely a sign of success. So when I started out with project management software, I used notebooks. Actually, I used notebooks, and then I moved to Asana, and then I checked out Trello and Basecamp, and then I moved to Teamwork. And I loved Teamwork, but here's what I had to do. I had to go through this pile, like, I had piles of Post-its like this, and I had to go through every notebook and every single idea that I had in some other place, and I had to move them all into Teamwork. And I just stuck with it and stuck with it and stuck with it. And what happened was all of my information was in there. I had a belief that it was accurate. I felt confident that I had wasn't leaving anything out. And if I discovered something, I knew where to put it. I knew where to put it. And so I was really able to confidently move into that system, support my client work. And then my business just took off to the next level, because I had what I needed. And Shauna says, I know Shauna. So she says, I definitely should have planned out the process before jumping in. Yes. So, well, you can still do that. You can still do that, because there's many facets to what you're doing. And the ones that you've done already, just sit down for a minute and think, okay, when I moved my email, did I get everything I needed? When I moved my calendar, did I get everything I needed? And if you didn't, it's probably not too late to go back and get it. But planning it out is really important. Just, it might not be as much fun, because it can be exciting to skip that piece, but that's where the danger really is. Okay. So I want you to look like this, right? And not this woman here. We do not want to look like her. Okay. We want to look like this. We want to be happy. And once you do this a few times, it is so satisfying. It is so satisfying. And then you can really point to your success. When a client says, I want to move to a different email platform, you can say, I've done that. I did that for my own business. It can be done. I know it's scary, but here's how we do it. And you can start to talk about the steps, right? You can start to talk about the steps. So Tina says, yes, I moved from GetResponse, which was an incredible, but something to be said about lifetime purchase and no monthly payments. I'm frugal. Yeah, absolutely. Being frugal is smart. It's like we're making money so we can do whatever we want with it. So absolutely, those lifetime purchases can be great. My business is run with very little money spent every month, very little. My note taking is free. The highest expense I have is credit card processing fees. My Gmail is $6 a month. Very, very few expenses, and you can run a very robust VA business with very little overhead. It's really, a lot of people have these big expensive all-in-ones, and you don't have to do that. You absolutely don't. Okay, good. Good. So before we go, I just want to I want to remind you of the key components here. So get clear on what you're doing. Don't look back. Make a plan. Make a commitment. Make a plan. Go 100%. Go 100%, and then you're going to feel amazing. All right. So before we go, I just want to invite you to my next Kickstart challenge. We have a 5-day training coming up. It's called the VA Client Kickstart Challenge. We're kicking off on July 25th. I'm really excited about it. It's 5 days of free training on exactly and specifically how to have a steady stream of clients in your VA business. So I hope you'll join me. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have prizes, we have homework, we have a workbook, and it's very exciting. So join me by going over to vachallenge.info, sign up, and I'd love to have you. Love, love, love to have you. So thank you guys for coming to Lessons from the Cockpit. We are here every Friday at noon Eastern, and I'd love to have you put it on your calendar and join me right here. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.